Welcome to our conversation that is kind of going to be about transitioning and pre-operative surgery and post-operative surgery, and kind of just a general chat about where we are.
And let's introduce ourselves, even though many of you know who we are, but for those that do not, we'll start with...
I'm Cara, aka NetNut7.
Exactly.
I'm 10 months out from having my surgery with Meltzer, and 2 summers ago I had facial feminization surgery, mostly bone work. I didn't have any soft tissue work, so that's the next stage on my journey.
We'll go to you. You're next.
Oh, I'm in line.
You're in line.
I'm Jenna, Jenna 08848 on the YouTube. I'm 6 years post-op and kind of just doing the advocate thing now for trans folks. Had my surgery with Marcy Bauer some years ago, and facial fem with Dr. O. And I'm kind of just sitting here with my 3 friends just in a glow.
So I'll do it at
My
once.
2 friends, just 2 friends, 3, yeah, myself too.
Yeah, well, you're your own friend, or your own
Or my worst enemy.
So, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
I am Jane, or Lady Vixen, Lady Vixen 1 on the YouTubes. Some of you may know me. I've done various things.
You're leaving Trinity Star out.
I am on Training Star as well. Thank you for reminding me. So you can find me on different, anyway, so you probably know who I am. Anyway, so basically tomorrow is my ta-da. I will be doing a Houdini. What parts of my body will be doing? No. So tomorrow I am having gender confirmation surgery, and that is why I'm going to be having it with McGinn. Christine McGinn she's out of the Papillon Center in Pennsylvania, New Hope, Pennsylvania. So it's exciting, and there's just a lot of emotions that are happening now. So I'm in Jersey with my wonderful friend.
It's Joyzy.
Joyzy. Sorry, we need to work on that before.
Joyzy, yes, absolutely.
My wonderful, beautiful friend Jenna has giving me a place to stay.
And Aaron.
Aaron.
Don't leave Aaron out.
Aaron. A place to, I don't know, it's just wonderful. You're wonderful.
No, we're good. We're all good.
Okay, so what are we going to be discussing today?
I was talking with Jane because I talk with these 2 people and they're so important to me. And I was talking to her about where Cara was and Cara's fears and where she is preoperatively, and her date's coming up, and I'm looking forward to being there for her when she has her surgery in July. And Jane's is here, but when I talk to my friends, not only do I listen to what they say, but I'm listening to what they're communicating to me, and kind of like where their heads are, and where we are, where our mindset is, and where we, for not probably the proper choice of a word, but where we have evolved to. Well, that's a better word. I was going to say developed. It's evolved to, and where our mindset is preoperatively, on the eve of, and then for myself postoperatively, and how we view ourselves and how we fit and how things change through this journey that we all go through called transition. So, I mean, I've listened to these 2 women talk about their fears and their concerns and my readies, and I think they're both ready. But it's kind of like, I figured maybe this would be a good video for us to do together that would kind of put things from a timeline of change for us.
Probably into perspective for many people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I see things, I shared with Jane last night that I see things differently than I did preoperatively. Like postoperatively, I tell people it changes again, but it's hard to put a finger on exactly how things change, and that I see things different. And people would say to me, you're going to be different after surgery, so don't get in relationships because, you're making a mistake because it's going to be different and things will evolve. And, to a certain extent that's true. It was true for me, maybe not for everybody, but for me, the way I viewed people and things around me and the way that my inner core and my inner peace was so much more. Not that you have to have surgery to be complete, because you don't. I think we all agree on that. But for me, it was like anticlimactic. And you can go into that some. Maybe it was anticlimactic for me afterwards, and that's what you were saying last night. If you want to share some of that, that was pretty.
Yeah. Well, first I would like to ask you. You say that people were warning you about getting into relationships post-operative, at least at the beginning. And I kind of think that if you're a single woman and you're going through, this major surgery, and now you have parts of your body that are syncing up to what you want to see in the mirror, then I think it's okay to kind of delve into stuff that you've never been able to do. Obviously, being safe, but and to meet people and to experience new things, no matter how you want to do that. I think I don't see a problem in that. I think
I think it's different for everybody. Right,
yeah,
right.
Definitely.
But I had done a relationship pre-op, and it, and I probably wasn't done sorting out. Like you and I are very different as far as how our maturity level at this point was. For me,
right.
I was still like a 15, 16-year-old kid, where you're
like a 90-year-old.
Yeah, you're like a 90-year-old woman.
Oh my back! Oh my back!
So it was kind of a change, but Cara said something to me the other day, like, how do I know I'm ready? And
that is the question of the hour. How do you know you're ready? Can you really be ready?
I just had a therapist, and she said it comes down to the am I's. If you're in am I ready? Am I a man? Am I a woman? All these am I's, am I? Once you're done with the am I's, and I am. I know it here. I am.
Yeah.
Then you're ready.
Yeah, for me, it's come down to something I never believed it really would come down to, being just on the cusp of having this major surgery. And I always thought it was going to be, like a moment, and everything was going to be, it was exciting, and going for the gold, and maybe, I don't know, just I thought it was going to be much different than it is, and what it is just so anticlimactic. But it's also so many things at one time, and I think that you have to kind of distance yourself from all the emotions that are circulating to a certain degree, because if you were letting them all, inundate you at once, I don't know if I can handle this, So I think that my body and what I'm doing is just like distancing myself a little bit from myself, because I know this is what I want to do. But for me to kind of deal with all the what coulds or am I's, then I don't know if I would go through with it. Just because I'd be so scared, and it would be a fear-based decision, But I feel like below all that is this deep calm telling me it's okay, everything's going to be fine. And that's what I have to trust in. And so
that's the anticlimactic part, where I shared with you this morning that, for me, the big emotional craziness that was in my life was when I did the FFS with Dr. O. And then when I went to Marcy Bauer and had my GRS, CGS, whatever you want to, CGC,
whatever they calling it this week.
Whatever it is this week.
Yeah.
When I had that, it was kind of like, it was just like the icing on the cake. It was anticlimactic, is the word we used. And it was just like, like a so what at that point. And maybe that's because I had gotten that out of my system with the FFS.
So if you've been living your life as a woman and you're like, have your face done, it's like, how all of a sudden, it's not like you're coming out to the world as, oh, guess what? You're already.
Yeah, that part was over. I think that, and you're right. That's, my mom. We were talking last night. My mom, her big one was, if you have this FFS, you can never present as a male again or a boy again. And I went, Isn't that what we were aiming for here? So then, after I healed, and people that knew me before didn't recognize me, I knew I was going to be okay. And then the whole ma'am and this and all that kind of came into play, which was nice. But, I think that probably took away from the gender reassignment surgery.
Can you compare for those? I know that a lot of trans people have FFS before GCS. It's a pretty common thing. Are those two surgeries comparable at all? Or are they two just different ballparks?
I think from the visual perspective, the FFS kind of confirms, because the word that people say is nobody knows what's in your pants.
Right.
Nobody knows that.
But people see your face.
But they see your face, and that's what they, when people click you, if they click you, that's the problem with the people that knew you before.
Right.
Once they've had they've clicked you as a male, then you're a male forever, regardless. And that's what makes it so hard for people to transition with us in this new life, where they make their slips. But I think the facial for me was so much more that brought me forward to who I was, and then when I went for the not that it was, I'm not going to downplay how it's extreme surgery. Genital surgery is regardless of what direction you're going is very, very serious surgery, but nobody sees that. I mean,
right.
Me, when I take a shower, I look down, everything is the way it's supposed to be, as opposed to how it used to be. So I don't know if I'm answering your question right, but
No, I think so.
I think they're distinctly different. But the word we used was anticlimactic, because except for the part, now that was the physical part, the visual part. The mental part with the gender surgery, that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Now I know where I want to go with this. The gender part afterwards, up here, is now that I am totally aligned and everything is the way it's supposed to be. That's when I was trying to explain to you it's different post-operatively, because I see myself mentally different than I did before.
So maybe it's changing from, in transition, although it is a lot of emotional and mental, it is very physical, right? We want to look a certain way. We want these very physical changes and characteristic differences. But I think what you're explaining is that once it's kind of done, when is it ever? But once, that hurdle is crossed, then you're noticing a whole different level of it that sometimes doesn't have words to describe.
Right, and it's hard. It's hard to say, but it's different. People say, well, how's it different? You go, but it's different.
It's different.
It's different.
Because it's the opposite of the physical side of it. It's something that's deeper than that.
Yeah, cells. It's at the cellular level different.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Totally.
How was that
an internal
for you?
process, or is that an external validation? Some of it is what you
it's
think about yourself, but it's also the reactions that you get from other people.
Yeah. Well, how was it with you with FFS? Because you've been through this with FFS. How was it? What was your experience? Both how people reacted to you and how you felt about yourself up here.
Well, going into it, I wanted to get support from the community and friends, and just getting support to do FFS was like a mixed bag. I had people that said, fuck you, you're insane for doing this. You're past enough. You're insecure. Get over your insecurities. Just live with yourself. And I thought, well, there are a little bit of modifications that they can do here, here, and here, and then I'll have more confidence and I'll feel better. And I think it does do that for you, and maybe over time you get a different sense of yourself. You get a different sense of when privilege starts to happen to you.
Good privilege.
Good privilege. Yes. It changes how you think about yourself, how you interact. It changes. I don't know. Is it the reaction I'm getting from somebody else internally? The hormones? It's a mix, and they all like
play off one another.
Yeah.